It's HBR1, All Things Considered, and I'm Dave Lawrence. Tonight at the Blaisdell Arena, Hawaii Public Radio proud to welcome the Summer Soul Fest to town. Last week we spoke with the headliners, the Stylistics, and our good friend Airrion Love from that band. This week we continue with a conversation with two more acts, the Shirelles, Beverly, and the Crystals, DeeDee, Kenniebrew. These two girl group pioneers told us stories that stretched back to a very different era.
As a matter of fact, there were some towns that we went to, we couldn't stay in the same hotels, and you couldn't stop at some of the rest stops to get something to eat, so Dick would take our orders for us.
Because of the segregation, you guys,
yes.
He would have to get the food. I mean, what a sign of a different cultural time, though.
Yes.
You did the first integrated show in Alabama. Tell us about that historic appearance.
Just before we went on to perform, I'll never forget, we heard a lot of popping sounds, real loud popping sounds, and we didn't know what it was. People thought someone might have been firing a gun, but it turned out that some bulbs had exploded. But before we got there, we were told that the Ku Klux Klan had marched, and we could not leave the grounds of the hotel we were staying at. They had the National Guard guarding us. But nobody panicked when that happened. People were there for the show. They intended for everything to go smoothly, and other than that, it did.
You were really lucky.
We were blessed. We had Etta James and we had Laverne Baker. We had people who took us under their wings. Etta taught us how to keep the guys away. Etta told us, look out for this, look out for that. And when we went out to party, she'd always look out for us.
Sounds like a lot of different places you were fortunate to have mentorship.
We were always blessed with having people look out for us. It was like even like the Coasters and the Drifters. These guys were like brothers to us.
Any personal interactions with Carole King as a songwriter over the years that stick
yes.
out?
When we first saw Carole, she had brought a demo up. In those days, they brought demos up to the record companies. And Luther Dixon was our producer. And he played the song for us, and we didn't like it. Carole was singing on the demo, and it sounded like a country and western song, real twangy. And he said, no, but you're going to do this song. And when we went into the studio to record it, there was this big orchestra and strings and cellos, and we heard all this lush music playing, and it just fell in love with the song. It was totally different. And Carole King didn't like the way the guy was playing kettle drums, so Carole King is actually playing kettle drums on Will You Love Me Tomorrow.
That's a good bit of trivia. And she impressed with the way that you guys did it?
We were told when the song became number one, she had the doorbell chime to that melody at her home.
The early days of rock and roll also had a different way of promoting records. DeeDee Kenniebrew of the Crystals told me about that.
You do all of those disc jockeys hop, you'd go in, you'd mind your records, you'd jump in the car and you'd go to another one, high lit, you'd go over there and you'd do his hop, and then you'd go over to Jocko and you'd go to, they all had little hops where they had kids come in and dance to records, and they'd have an artist come in that released a new song, or be in costume, and then you'd jump in the car and go to another one. And that's how you did promotion back in those days.
That's cool to hear how that worked. Phil Spector said to have used a replacement version of the Crystals with Darlene Love and the Blossoms for He's a Rebel. Were you on that single, or was that not even the Crystals?
It was not even the Crystals. We were already had 2 hit records, right, and an album, and we're touring. And we had started to rehearse the song. All of a sudden, we were in the car, and we're on tour, and we played the radio, and the Crystals played a song. At that point, he was really getting full of himself. But remember, he was getting rid of Lester. He was getting rid of anybody that he was going to have to pay money to. He wanted it all. And we were pretty much bugging him because he hadn't paid us any money. He didn't pay us for the first hit. He didn't pay us for the second hit. He didn't pay us anything on the album. And then he sneaks up to California, and the next thing you know, well, you've got another record out. We didn't know who the people were. Never heard of them, but we were, mortified. Phil Spector cared about nobody at that point because he had his label, he had his hit, he was picking up a few more artists. Why did we suddenly have to all of a sudden now need a replacement? He did because he didn't want to pay it. He paid him $3,000.
You're saying is he just cut them some short money and then pocketed the rest on that?
Exactly. We were on a roll. We were already on a roll. And the proof of the pudding is after he pulled his stunt, we went back in the studio with him, realizing we have no recourse. We can't tell him we're not going to go in the studio because you aren't paying us. Because he had us under a type of a contract where he could do what he wanted for the duration of that contract with that name.
Man.
So, with the do run and the rest, there we were.
What an endurance, though, that some of those tunes have had all these years later when you think of the ability to transcend generation after generation.
That's the amazing part. Never did I think these things that at this age I'd still be running around singing the Do Run Run. Never. You know?